It's weird looking.
It's like the that meme where it's like the anime girl, but her eyes are too far apart and it's just kind of horrifying.
Yes, it is exactly that.
Yes.
Okay, so, uh, this is take 2 of recording the podcast, because stuff.
So what happened, by the way? I didn't really get much from the text logs.
So, Discord did a weird thing where, for me, all of the audio coming in would be just robot voice to nothing.
Ugh.
But they could hear me just fine. So I I have no idea how that happened.
I don't suppose your internet connection was super low, because I
It,
mean that happened. That
it
used to happen to me when my connection was real bad on Skype.
no, it was fine. It was all in the green. It sent my voice out just fine, which
I
is
had
supposed to be the more difficult part because its upload rates are lower than
I
download
had
rates.
Yeah.
hypothesized it was some sort of problem with the whatever server or whatever they're using in your region, which probably just got fixed over time, which I thought it would.
I would hope so.
Yeah, so that was unfortunate. I don't know what I don't remember how much we actually got done of the first recording of how much we did. Uh,
Not really that far. We were like 10 minutes in.
yeah, I think we talked about Zero leaving the
I
kernel
mentioned,
service.
yeah, I'm quitting KFC.
Yeah.
Oh, all right, cool.
I got substitute teaching. I got other things I can do, and I can do those things from home rather than just go outside in a pandemic to go work in a hot kitchen in 111-degree heat wearing a mask.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, it's something to be avoided
You know,
if you can help it.
I feel like I can use my degree to get more pay for less pain.
Yeah.
Uh, the catalyst for me actually leaving was one of my coworkers left me a nasty note,
Oh,
and I was
classy.
just like, "Oh, okay, yeah, no, I don't have to deal with this." He was
Yeah.
upset. It was one of the newer guys. He's upset I didn't leave him enough chicken for his shift, and I'm not keeping the cook area quote unquote decent, despite the fact that on that morning I went in and he had worked last night, and there was boxes in the back room in room temperature with bags of blood still inside them,
Ugh.
Wow,
and he
great.
didn't filter one of the cookers and left a whole bunch of a mess, and he called me out for being unclean.
Okay.
So
I'm sure that guy is going to be much loved once you're gone, considering you've been working there for a long time.
7.5 years.
Yeah. And he effectively caused one of their uh, longest employed people that knew what the hell they were doing and had been around for a long time and was more reliable than most of the people there. And he got that person gone. Good job, buddy.
My dad was pretty happy to hear. Both my parents were pretty happy to hear the news. My dad's
I
just like, "You've done your
imagine.
time." I'm like, "Thanks, Dad."
That's you. You have put in your mandatory service to the colonel's regime.
No, he said he's been holding back, really coming down and going hard on that store because there's a lot that's wrong with it. But he's been holding back because I was there. So now that I'm going to be gone, he can really get that store into perfect condition.
I don't fully understand that mentality. Would you have gotten in trouble? Would it been on your?
He didn't want to go down hard on that store because then there was a possibility of any sort of like people being upset and taking that out on me.
Oh, okay. I get. Okay, yeah, that would be shitty, but I could see that happening.
Mm-hmm. So now that I'm leaving, their protection is gone. Thank you, one coworker, for leaving that note.
Good job.
My boss told him not to leave that note, apparently, or not to leave any notes because it's not his job to do that. But,
sounds like he's doing everything that isn't his job.
Yeah, I know, right? He had time to write a note, but he didn't have time to pull chicken from the freezer and set to thaw so that we would have chicken.
In a KFC.
Yeah. Crazy that. It was a nasty note. I got so mad. Like, I don't think I've ever felt hatred like that before.
I assume it's easy. It's like pseudo-anonymity. I mean, I assume he just got more and more worked
He
up.
signed his name.
Yeah, but you're still writing a note to someone, so it's not like you have to look at them when you're writing it. So,
Mm-hmm. Well, for these last 2 weeks of my job, I'm going to do the best job that I've ever done so that they know what they're going to be missing.
there you go.
That's fair.
I mean, don't break yourself doing it, but like, yeah, no, go for it.
Another note, something else I do want to say, I've been looking into getting into streaming and doing streaming again. And I am going to be starting that, I think, on Friday. So I'm kind of announcing it here. I'm going to be streaming Paper Mario 64. That's what I'm going to try for my first stream. That game is old. It's going to look old. Apologies in advance. This is going to be our first thing. I'm actually going to do... I'm going to try out using a webcam for this as well. See how well it works. So you'll all be able to see my wonderful face.
Yeah.
And I'll probably post more information like on Friday. I'm going to be using my King of Zero X Twitch that I used for the Undertale Genocide Run stream.
Fair enough.
It's been interesting trying to figure out how all of this streaming stuff works, so just hope it works.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll figure out it eventually, even if there's some trial and error.
Yeah. Might as well, start with doing something fun. I like Paper Mario 64 a lot. It's one of my favorite games. I've beaten it multiple times, and I don't remember much about it because it's been a long time since I've played it. So.
Yeah, I mean, even my favorite Paper Mario game, which is Thousand Year Door, I don't remember most of it. That game is long. So I imagine the other Paper Marios are in a similar boat.
I went back and I beat Thousand Year Door a few weeks ago, actually. Just did it again. They have like a HD texture pack out that you can just slap on that. It looks great.
What system is that on?
I just emulated it.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, Dolphin's come a long way. It was actually very stable. So I guess we're doing my week because started talking about that.
Yeah.
We were in the middle of it when it cut out, so it seemed appropriate.
Yeah. In that case, there was like a Nintendo Indie Direct thing today that I watched. And I think the thing that most stuck with me was the fact that Untitled Goose Game now has co-op update coming.
That game is still getting content?
Yeah. A free co-op update.
It's not even finished. They haven't even got a name for it yet.
That's a fair point.
Also true, they are still insisting that it's not really called that. That's just a placeholder still. So.
Hmm.
It's lovely. Lots of games shown. Lots of them looked pretty fun, but nothing really that I felt. Oh yeah. Oh, I almost forgot. The one thing that did stand out to me.
One thing.
Hades is coming to Switch.
It is, yes.
Yeah?
I have to imagine they haven't got a name for Untitled Goose Game yet because they both really want and really don't want to call it Loosey Goosey.
Loosey Goosey.
Why would they not want to call it that?
I can think of a few reasons.
Yeah, there's rolling around in my head. Yeah, so Hades. It's a good game.
Yeah.
I look forward to starting it again when 1.0 comes out later this year.
Well, you have a they have cross save.
I'm not going to play it on Switch. I just want to restart it because, I've got saves from before it finished. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's coming out relatively soon, I think.
I think they said it's coming out after 1.0 comes out, which is in, a couple months, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So quitting my job, going to go work. I had a bit of a complication because the district that I was substitute teaching for, they're trying to do a small program with only a few subs. That doesn't include me, but there are other districts which are looking for subs. So I'll be going for one of them, which is nearby, and pays more than the other districts. So.
Oh, sweet.
I mean, it's distance learning anyway, so location is not especially important. You could sub for Minnesota if you wanted. Technically,
I mean,
you probably have to. But there's probably forms and shit you'd have to do, but
there's stuff I'd have to probably do to, some of it in person at least. But yeah, parents are very supportive about me quitting KFC because they don't want me to going out in the pandemic, and also it's not using my degree, and also I don't plan on really advancing in that path in life, so it's just kind of like I'm getting a paycheck, but I'm not really advancing anywhere.
But Zero, if you stay there 5 more years, you could be an ass man.
I don't want to be though.
Yeah.
I could probably have been a manager or something at this point, but I haven't been wanting to really invest more time into that, and plus there was school and everything, so. Yep. Aside from that.
Oh yeah?
What else have I really been? I mean, I guess Dungeons and Dragons, the typical stuff. I can't think of anything off the top of my head other than, a big important switch in my life.
Yeah,
I found out that Helltaker had a secret ending. So when I did that,
it does.
Yeah.
Okay, what is Helltaker? I don't know what that is. I just
Helltaker is a free 45-minute game that has puzzles and demon girls.
Oh, okay. I've only seen things on Twitter of art.
All of the fan art of the demon girls and such is because of this one 30-minute to an hour long game.
Huh. That's impressive, actually.
Yeah, the monetization strategy for it is, hey, you can have this game for free, and if you really like it, you can buy the art book for $8.
Oh.
Which, it's fair enough.
Fair enough.
And also, the art book has a recipe for chocolate pancakes in it.
Oh, that's kind of charming, actually.
Yeah, right?
The writing and the art of that game is strong enough that even though it's so short, it has a lasting impression.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there was a secret ending in which you had to find. There are 3 hidden sort of items in the puzzles, and once you get them at the final sort of area, which is your house, if you kind of do a specific set of movements on these in this area, then you unlock a portal to the secret ending and encounter the final demon girl.
We might have to stop the recording so that I can do this.
Well, at least you know what you're going to be doing for the rest of the day, or at least the hour after
20
recording.
minutes, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I re-downloaded Speedrunners and was playing that with Dawn because we had no games that we could play together. It was like, wait, we both have Speedrunners. It's like, wait, I did that for this podcast. Man, I miss Speedrunners.
Yeah.
It's a good game.
Yeah, it's a good game.
Has it changed much at all?
Nope.
Yeah, I didn't think so. I mean, it's a pretty solid core design, so I don't know why they would ever change it.
Yeah, just add more maps, which they have, and the map builder, which was... I mean, it's a map builder. It depends on the people making them, and you know how that usually goes.
Bit of a grab bag.
90% of everything is crap, you know. So
Mhm.
it's a little... Oh well. Still a good game.
Yeah. I enjoyed going back and playing that, and I remembering the old tricks where I'd just grappling hook my way around. And I'm like, this feels good. But my friend, Dawn, she's also very good at platforms. And so we were very neck and neck the entire time.
Oh, all right.
It's just like
For,
the same grappling hook tricks that I'm doing, she's doing too. And it's like only on some cases where I'm able to do the grappling hook tricks better. Man, I love grappling hooks.
They're great.
If I could have one with me at all times that would just instantly like shoot over and like hook shot style connect to surfaces, I think I'd be having a pretty great life.
I think there'd be a lot of people being hookshot at it too. I mean, you can hit people with it.
In one of my first experiences with D&D, we were doing like a one shot or something, and my character threw a grappling hook and ended up killing somebody with a grappling hook. I think there were 2 occasions in which I used a grappling hook in D&D to kill people. One was pulling somebody off a tower and causing them to fall, and then using them as a weight to hold the rope down so we could climb down from a cliff. And then he died when my character landed on top of him.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh.
well, waste not, want not.
The second time was a natural 20, and my DM ruled that the grappling hook went right through his chest.
Oh. Yeah, that sounds about right.
So, dangerous, I guess.
I mean, those things are spiky. Fucking... yeah.
But that's my week. I'll probably interrupt at the end if I remember something that was super, super important, but I don't think there is anything.
I'll go next. Fuck it. Stupid tax shit I got sorted, finally. Yay.
Yay.
That's annoying.
Yeah.
Like, it's only half of it, because it's just the local stuff to make sure I still get, like, tax support and stuff for not earning a lot of money. I had to buy a scanner so that I could put the documents in so I don't have to do anything in person, which I enjoyed a surprising amount. Just feeding the thing through the scanner, and just it's cool. It's a little thing. It's like it's just like I remember ages ago, like when if you would get a scanner, it would be like either built into a printer or it would be one of those big gigantic flat things that you put the paper down on and it'd scan and everything. This is just like a thing that you feed the paper through and it just does it, and it's the size of, like, I don't know, half the size of my Switch. like with the stand and everything. I was baffled at it when I looked up, like, yeah, I need to buy a scanner, and there's just these little bar things. It's like, okay, I hope these work, because apparently that's all that scanners are nowadays if you don't want a printer with it. So that's cool.
Yeah. I guess I've never really seen a scanner that wasn't also a printer.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just doing it to take the piss now. Alright, so, video games are cool. I haven't been playing many, but I replayed SteamWorld Dig 2, which is still a very good game.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
Yeah. One of those ones where you just, like, dig and get materials that you can sell to buy new equipment so you can dig deeper and all that stuff.
It's a fun game.
Yep, still a solid game. Had fun with it. And after playing that, I decided to play the next one that I bought that I never played, which is SteamWorld Heist, which is a completely different type of game. It's a little more like a 2D XCOM thing, which is a little strange, but it's alright. Kind of like, you can move characters one at a time, and they have a certain amount of actions. You can just move, or you can do a double movement and it'll take your whole turn, or you can move a bit and then shoot, XCOM kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it also has you actually aim, so there's no percentage chance of whether it'll hit or not. You have to actually aim yourself.
Oh, that's kind of preferred, honestly.
Yeah, and some, like, the weapons have different properties, so you can get guns that will have, like, laser sights, so you can aim accurately, or ones that will have the bullets ricochet, so if you get one that does an accurate aim and a ricochet, then you can do kind of crazy trick shots, which is fun. Yeah, so that's a pretty good game. I'm enjoying it so far. I've only played it for like a couple of hours. But the thing that got me interested in that series again was the next game in the series that came out that I didn't even know about, which is SteamWorld Quest, which is a turn-based RPG. Apparently they're just running through genres at this point and doing whatever the hell.
Fuck it, why not?
Yeah, apparently they're doing pretty good at it, just cycling through genres and trying the hand at each of them, and I don't think they've done a bad one. According to the reviews, they just keep doing really decent versions of these types of games. So, yeah. What else did I do? I'm sure there was other stuff. Writing and things and stuff.
Writing and things and stuff. Coming soon to a bookstore near you.
Yeah.
I'm sure that book already exists.
Yeah, probably. I remember watching a lot of YouTube. Oh, yeah. Ryu sent me down a friggin' rabbit hole with blind wave reactions. I don't know whether I mentioned this last podcast. I might have done.
Oh, I like Blind Wave.
I
they're okay.
have no idea who that is, actually.
It's YouTube channel, group of dudes doing reaction videos to a lot of shows and stuff. And they started off as not anime guys and gradually just worked their way through different popular anime to the point where they are kind of sort of probably call them casual anime fans. Just like having enjoyed the big names like Death Note and Fullmetal Alchemist and Code Geass and
MHA.
shit. Yeah, My Hero Academia, and they're doing Naruto currently. God help them. And they just started doing Gurren Lagann, which is going to be a thing. So Mm. Yeah, so I watched a bunch of their reaction videos and re-experiencing a lot of shows that I enjoyed. Like, they've done stuff like mainstream TV, like Dexter and Doctor Who, and other ones that I forget. But I've watched, like, I don't know, a couple seasons worth of each of those, and just, like, re-experiencing them by proxy, which has been an interesting experience. Just seeing their perspectives, because they actually put a little more effort into it than most reaction channels do, because they have a bit of a chat about things before they start, and then while they're watching the episode, they actually have notepads in front of them so that they can take notes for things they're going to talk about once the episode's finished.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Which is a cool thing. I very much appreciate that, because it's not just a video of someone watching someone else's work and then laughing or reacting at appropriate points and then calling it done. That's not very good.
There's some level of actual effort and professionalism, basically.
Yeah. So that's cool. I appreciate that.
I'll have to check them out. Are they something that you could listen to as opposed to watch?
I'd say so, yeah.
Okay, because
the older ones, like from 2015 to 2018, they have like they follow the rules of how you're supposed to do it, which is 10 minutes of footage from the actual thing they're allowed to have in the video. But more recently, because of Content ID and all that shit, they've just had the actual reaction content in a separate page linked in the description so they can have it on a different platform.
Fair enough.
So you can just listen to them. Like the older shows, you can just leave it on the playlist and it's fine. The newer ones, you have to actually go through to the actual reaction and stuff if you want to see that, or just listen to them talk about each episode in turn, if that's what you prefer.
Unless you could actually hear the show, like the volume of the show very low, but you can still hear it, I think that would kind of lose some of the effect. You can't watch.
You can still hear the show.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
they do
okay.
Have the audio in it, yes.
That is perfect then. Yeah.
Like I say, for the older ones, and then that's in a separate video for the new ones. So, yeah, I spent far too much time on that last week. Really, it was a low workload week, so it was fine.
I found Blind Wave because when I get really excited with watching like Mario Academia, for example, and I have nobody to talk about it with, either because everybody's asleep or just people haven't watched it yet. I'm like, let me just go see reaction channels and see what they think of the episode, and experience some hype, some secondhand hype.
Yeah,
that does fill that itch. Yeah.
I had to stop watching the My Hero Academia reaction because I haven't actually watched the back half of the season yet. Season 4, I still haven't done it. It's all about Best Girl, and I still haven't actually watched it. Does
Moroku appear during season 4?
Does who?
Moroku or Miroko? I haven't heard her name said out loud.
I think she does actually, but that's not who I was talking about.
Oh, who did you mean?
Jiro.
I don't know who that is.
Earphone girl.
Oh. When you said that, I was imagining Gero, like
Jiro.
Yeah. So I should watch that at some point. That would be a good thing for me to do.
Yeah, probably. I think the manga, the part that I dropped out in the manga has not been animeized yet, so I can't even talk about it.
You dropped out at a pretty... Because I remember seeing you saying that you dropped out, and it's like, I've been continuing to read it, and I read past that, and I do like the direction that they're going. But I can understand why you'd want to drop out.
I am ashamed to admit that I was drawn back in because I was told that Toga gets a really cool fight scene. So I started reading the last few chapters. But so yeah, I'm like, I think it's like around 230 is when I dropped out, and then I picked it up around 270. So I'm like, I have a 40 chapter gap in my knowledge.
That's like with me in One Piece.
I'm trying to remember what was happening in those chapters.
The stress guy fights Tamura.
Oh yeah, the stress thing was just kind of weird, and I can, yeah, like Zero said, I can understand dropping out there. It went on a bit too long. I
really like his powers, and all the fight scenes that happened during that were really great. It's just I don't like how that entire battle ended. It was stupid.
And then other stuff happened that was quite good, and then it got kind of nuts. Yeah, stuff's going on currently.
It's
yeah.
It feels like a huge turning point in the manga.
It feels like a big loss is about to happen, and then a time skip is going to happen.
A big loss did happen.
I feel like another big loss is going to happen then. Whatever. I don't think they're going to win the fight that's happening right now.
Yeah, I don't actually know where they're going to go with this, and that's kind of neat.
I appreciate that My Hero has both stuck to and subverted expectations in equal measure, and both of them are good. Both of them have been done relatively well. So, it's fun. No matter which direction they take it, it's probably going to be pretty good.
Even acknowledged in the story that, hey, that's not how this is supposed to go. Like, after the All Might and All for One fight, like, All for One's like, no, this is not how these story arcs are supposed to go. You fucked it up. And that's kind of interesting. I appreciate that.
The idea that you even can, screw it up. It's like, I always, this is the thing about My Hero, is that I've seen lots of people who either jump off of it or quit it because, not because of what's happening, but because of what they're expecting to happen. I've seen that happen quite a few times, where it's like, this is going to end up this way, or this is going to end up that way. And it usually never ends up happening that way. Like, for example, with Eri, when she was introduced, I remember seeing a lot of people being like, oh, this manga is ruined now because this character exists.
She really, she's more of a mascot at this point. She has zero control over her powers, and probably won't until it's plot convenient. So, it didn't really change much.
No, it didn't. But at the time, before people really understood what was going to happen, they're like, this is broken. This allows all this broken stuff to happen. I know how shonen manga go. I'm out, sort of thing. And there's several points in the show where you could be like that, but eventually you come to realize that it never ends up going the worst way possible that it would in other shonen manga.
Honestly, even when Eri does gain control over powers, enough things have happened by this point that, like, that would be about on par with everything else. That wouldn't be overpowered by that point. The power creep would have caught up with her, essentially.
Yeah, I would argue the power creep is kind of, it's weird in how the escalation is, because, like, I remember when fucking same thing as with Eri, I guess, I didn't see that reaction for Eri, but when the revelation about the quirks in One for All was made.
Oh, that was bad.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
and everyone was like, "Oh my god, this is so bullshit. He's got like 8 quirks. Fuck off. It's stupid." Like,
and then we find out that one of them is the ability to float. Not even fly. Not even confirmed to be flying. It's just floating.
Yeah. And one of them is making a little whip. Like, it's
utility.
Yeah, it's utility. It was like, he's so overpowered now because he has all these quirks, and then, like, not long after, in fairness, it's about 80 chapters after that, but fucking, then the villain arc happens, and we realize, oh, never mind, he's not overpowered anymore. Holy shit.
Thematically, I like the idea that all of his extra quirks are kind of useless or only situationally useful, because why would they get all for one if they have a good quirk to begin with?
Yeah. Exactly. And you
incidentally, I like that actually fits with the fucking MHA fic that I wrote, where he has a shit quirk.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
And then you have, the all-for-one villain whose power is, I'm going to steal all these powers for basically ultimate utility so that I can just cover everything that I need and have no weaknesses. And we already know that the fight of the grandest scales already happened before the show started.
Mm.
And so it feels like we're building up to something of a similar, if not greater, caliber, but it doesn't feel out of left field, considering that we already know what's happened in the past.
There's been kind of there always is to some extent, but especially in this series, there's always some theme of the new generation being stronger than the last.
Mm-hmm.
So we're kind of getting that. I mean, the fight between All for One and One for All before the series was world-changing. So this one is going to be a similar level of bombasticness, I suppose.
Yeah.
I hope so, anyway. It would be kind of a waste not to.
It's looking like it's going to be pretty bombastic right now.
Does this make Shigaraki all for 2?
All for 2? All for you.
Anyway. Dumb joke. Yeah, I think that's my week. I don't
2 for
really
all.
Anything else. Yeah. It'll only be 9 for all, in fairness.
Mighty 9. Critical Role crossover.
The most unexpected crossover.
That would be pretty unexpected. I don't think any of Critical Role cast actually voice anyone in MHA.
No,
That's
I don't think so.
Actually shocking, considering how small the voice acting community is.
Anyway, yeah. So that's my week. Sisa, how you doing? You good?
Pretty good, honestly. I'm recovering well. I thought I was off light duty yesterday, but I still got to go through one more day of it. So it's kind of annoying at this point. Like, I'm all better. I'm not going to be running anywhere anytime soon. Hard impacts are about the only thing that hurts still. But, yeah, not too bad. I binge watched the entirety of Umbrella Academy Season 2. Boy, does that end on a note.
I have no idea what that show is.
It's X-Men, only a little more realistic. I suppose less comic, more real life. Sort of.
I feel like the name is unfortunate because I keep thinking it's a Resident Evil thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I get that vibe too. But in fairness, there are experiments done about life and death, so there's that. It's less about death, though, and more about life, keeping people alive. Like, one of the main characters was badly injured, and the only way to cure him of his mortal wound was to inject him with like gorilla DNA. So he's part gorilla. Yeah. And I think
So he's a Saiyan?
no, it's more like he has like the body of a half gorilla, and it looks really weird, as it should. But also, I think it took part of his powers. Like his ability was super strength, and he doesn't feel like he has super strength anymore. Like he's strong, certainly, but like it's not that impressive. That I will admit that is one of the downsides of the show that I've seen so far is the powers are kind of lackluster in some ways. One has super strength. One can summon tentacles out of his body. One can talk to the dead and eventually summon them to do things in real life. So that's kind of cool, his development. One can whisper things to other people and like brainwash them into doing it by saying, "I heard a rumor," and then like, I don't know, you gave me free lunch or something like that, and then they would pay for her lunch. But there's kind of a corruption aspect to that power because the more she uses it, the more she wants to use it. So that's not good.
This actually just sounds straight up like X-Men level powers. That's basically what they were, though.
Pretty much, yeah. And then the last one can turn sound waves into energy, which doesn't sound too bad until she slices someone's throat open by playing a violin.
Oh. Ow.
Yeah. Yep. Just playing it and then whips that instrument you run along the strings. I don't know what that's called. The bow, yeah. Just whips that and just shears right through. So, yeah, dangerous. That character that has the sound powers actually gets pretty routinely turned into the bad guy because some bad shit happened in her childhood where she was essentially neglected and drugged and turned into a pariah in her own family for her entire life. So she's really good at repressing things. And then she stops being able to do that, and predictably bad things happen. So a lot of her subplots are just learning to live while she's not drugged or being shunned by everyone she knows. It is a really good show, I will say. I did enjoy it a lot, but it feels very short. Like there's no breather episodes. It doesn't feel like anyway. It's always go, go, go. But yeah, I'm looking forward to season 3. Every bit as much as I was season 2. So the ability to keep that level of excitement is impressive for a show these days, and I applaud it for that. It's going to be a long wait for season 3, though. Fuck. Because I don't think they can record anything right now with the various restrictions we have in place that may or may not be being paid attention to. You never know these days.
I wonder how many shows are going to come back next season and they're filmed as if, the pandemic was actually happening. So, yeah. Suddenly, all these exciting things will happen in the first 2 seasons, and then season 3 is just like everyone's sitting at home eating ice cream. Yeah, okay.
That would be very tongue-in-cheek, and I would really enjoy that. Even if it was just like a gag half season or something that was like essentially non-canon. I don't know. Something. I know we've gotten at least one anime that had a pandemic so far. I'm curious of the new wave of anime that will be some form of pandemic or bad illness happened. Trying to think. I haven't really done a lot. Honestly, I've been reading a lot. I found a cache of good MHA stories on Archive of Our Own, so kind of working through those. And one Harry Potter story that is a shameless superpowered story with no sense of consequence or scale or anything bad happening ever.
Do the wizards poop on the floor and magic it away?
I mean, maybe. It's never the camera is
That's
never
the
shown
ultimate
on
power
anything.
fantasy.
Yeah, I mean, they're just walking along and suddenly there's a turd falling out of their pant leg. It's crazy. Except on like a trashy gas station where that happens sometimes, they can just wave their wand and clean it up. Or the
Thanks,
house elves
J.K.
will do it for
Rowling.
them.
Thanks.
Yeah, yeah, we really needed that information. It's great. Thanks.
In fairness, if her fan base was still the 10-year-olds when they first started reading Harry Potter, they would have been busting a gut over that.
That is sadly true.
I think she didn't notice that her fan base actually aged up to about 30 to 40 years old. And thus don't really want poop humor that much anymore.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh well. I mean, she's rich. Who cares what she does anymore?
yeah, she can. No, I can't justify agreeing with that. Because I know what she's actually saying now, and it's really, really horrible. So,
Fair. Yeah. Some of the transgender stuff has been worrying.
Yeah. Subject change, so we're not being depressing anymore. Zysa,
Yeah.
what do you...
I got to open the link for that story, so I will definitely be recommending that later, and I'll talk about it more later.
Okay.
But I can't think of anything else I've actually done this week. I haven't done any gaming. Those are all I really watched and played. I'm attempting to get back into Rooster Teeth videos because they're really fun to listen to.
Godspeed.
Yeah, they did that thing where they got rid of questionable content, and that's fucking stupid. But what you gonna do?
I looked at Achievement Hunter a few weeks ago. I was like, I'll go and watch some Let's Plays. Like, I haven't checked on it in the past couple of months. I'll see what's up. I scrolled through the entire recent videos thing. There's about 30 videos on it. I think 8 maybe were Let's Plays on the Achievement Hunter channel.
Ouch.
And
What else?
The rest
what
of
else
it is
are they
all
doing?
podcast bullshit.
Oh.
Like,
That's pretty surprising, actually.
I totally want to listen to the people I don't like in Achievement Hunter talking about memes. Yeah, please.
Yeah, I'll admit, I don't hate Fiona by any means, but she should probably not have creative directive control of shows. Because this just internet, it's an interesting idea and all, but it was just kind of super cringe.
Yeah, I meme reaction content is a strange thing. Like, some channels still do it, but it's like once in a while, like once in a blue moon, and usually for like specific niches. Like, there's Legal, the lawyer guy that judges scenes in like courtrooms and stuff and grades them on legal accuracy. It's a weird but interesting channel. Anyway, he did one on legal memes. Yeah, okay. And then he did do it again because it's really lame, but fun to do every once in a while. But a weekly show on that, I don't think I would ever want to watch. Like,
Yeah.
no, thank you. Like,
Yeah,
I see what you're trying to do. It's viral content that you're reacting to, so maybe that'll make your content viral. No, it won't. That's not how that works.
I see what you mean. I'm scrolling through the actual Achievement Hunter YouTube page right now, and yeah, most of this is just podcast stuff. There's a few animated adventures and stuff, but and Awus. there's almost no actual Let's Plays. I guess, I mean, most of their Let's Plays are on their Let's Play channel. But...
Yeah, I was looking at the site.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
I don't even bother going there. Their video player is still garbage.
Well, I still have first subscription for some reason.
Right.
So I don't get ads on that, which is more than I can say for YouTube, and I don't have to deal with the end slates and everything. Can just actually watch the video, which is nice when they have videos I want to watch.
Did they cut out all their stuff for the video or their site videos?
For the most part, yeah.
That's cool. That's kind of a nice little bonus. It makes it easier to binge watch stuff. I don't know.
I miss them. I might just check up on Jeremy and see what he's doing, because I like him. He's cool. He has his own channel. He does his own thing. So I might check up on his content and see what he's doing.
Yeah, I feel like they all but have to at this point. I mean, I'm actually listening to Off Topic now, around when the pandemic started, and they do mention that they're busy all the time recording things, but I assume that's kind of dropped off a little bit, so they have more time. And then they can stream solo or do whatever they want, basically.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know.
It makes me sad.
It does feel like kind of an end of an era, I guess. I mean, the shenanigans and stuff like that has gotten more tame over the years as they just get older. I mean, bound to happen. And unfortunately, the new blood brought in is not... It's very hit or miss. Yeah, well, yeah. I wouldn't go that far. I do enjoy some of their stuff, but yeah.
I like Fredo. He's cool.
He's great. He fit in really well, actually. I think it was a good idea to bring in someone who was genuinely very good at video games, and then just the contrast between... That never wore off for me. That was always entertaining. It still is.
Get good at Rainbow Six Siege is still really good content.
Oh, yeah. No, it's great. Just the stunned silence that Fredo is in half the time is amazing.
Just Fredo every now and again being like, yeah, good for you, Jeff. You shot a guy for once. Yeah.
Yeah.
You did this really small thing. Good job. Do more of that. It was good. I feel like they should do that again. Start some series that they haven't really played. I think they tried to do that with Ark. They played it, got good at it, that kind of thing. Basically, what they did for oh god, what's it called? 7 Days to Die. That's it. They just recorded hours and hours and hours of it, and then just threw it all up.
Yeah, they did the thing like that for Raft twice.
I enjoyed that series. That was good. They definitely milked that game as much as possible, which is... I'm not saying that in a bad way. There's not a lot of content in that game, sadly, and they used all of it, which is impressive. The Shark Wizard stuff was gold.
Shark Mage.
That's it. That's the stuff. I loved that.
That was so good, I fucking used it. I ripped that shit off like it was a Band-Aid.
Good.
Anyway.
I will admit, I'm curious how much of On the Spot is going to be still there when they purge everything. I don't know if they haven't already.
Oh, God.
Because a lot of that show was... Oh, boy. Any episode with Jeff is gone. I loved his episode, but they were not friendly.
Yeah. I miss Andy too now. Fucking Christ. Just sad about it. Everything about that company just makes me sad now. It's really depressing.
What? Did he move to something else? What happened to him?
He got fired. Well, he got let go. He was made redundant.
Oh, gotcha. That sucks.
Yeah.
Was he one of that 50 they had to lay off all at once?
Yeah, I think
or
so.
Whatever it was.
Yeah.
No.
It's a shame. He was support, so he wasn't really necessary, but he was also one of the best parts of On the Spot. But then they got rid of On the Spot, so
Well, I mean, they did like 10 seasons or something. They did a lot. I mean,
Yeah,
it was
they
on
did.
for a while. So there's plenty of content to go back and watch. I mean, some of it might not be on the official page anymore. It's just uploaded by someone else for reasons. But oh well.
I'm just remembering him fucking with the game where they had to say things like running by letter. So something A, then B, then C, and he said Genghis Khan for K, and they have like a 5 to 10 minute argument about how wrong that is.
I mean,
Because he was thinking of the Pokemon.
Oh, okay, yeah, fair enough.
You don't have to spell Genghis Khan, don't you, right? Yeah, of course I do. It's K. Michael slaps him. No, it's not.
I should really go back and watch that show.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really good episodes. I feel like I avoided that show for a long time because I saw a couple of kind of slower episodes, and then I started binge watching it, and it was really good.
Yeah, there were definitely some people that were really good at the improv stuff, and some people that really weren't.
Yeah, I feel like maybe in the first couple of seasons they hadn't gotten down a good ratio. It was like pairing someone that was bad and someone that was good was the best way to do it. So the contrast between them was funny. Or you could pair two really good people together and it was just gold. But
Yeah.
I also appreciate how the points never worked. They never made sense ever.
Yeah, that's the British way to do it, which is what this show is basically based on.
Oh, I didn't know that actually. Like British game shows.
Well, panel quiz shows. With I think the first one was "Have I Got News for You," which was basically a bunch of comedians making fun of news stories and doing stupid games with them. And there were points, but no one cared about the points, and they didn't make any sense. And then there was a bunch of other shows that did the same thing. There was Nevermind the Buzzcocks for music, and then there was QI, which was for like obscure facts or misleading facts and wrong understandings of things, like there's more than one moon and such things like that. And then there was, and obviously there was Whose Line Is It Anyway, which I believe was the British show first, and then there was an American version, which was the same improv stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Might be
mistaken. Yeah, usually the points on those things, to keep it competitive, if both teams were relatively even or one was pulling ahead, they would like double the points and then triple them. And so they didn't. I mean, you could win one round in the last round, or one match in the last round, and suddenly win. Like, I don't think there's no real way to do that ever. It would have to be so dynamic that it doesn't matter. But I still appreciated seeing like infinity on one side and like 3 on the other, like -3. So we'll see how that.
This feels like a wake for Rooster Teeth.
Yeah. Oh man, it's depressing. There's a lot. I mean, the vocal minority will always be loud, but every single comment on that forum post of them deciding to take their things down was interesting. I don't know. The idea to just make a specific section of the site devoted to those videos, like quarantine them essentially, is the best idea in my opinion. But if they're taking them down for advertiser reasons, then I guess they have to take them down. But I don't know if it's an enforced decision by a higher company or if they just, I don't know, are getting woke or whatever the fuck.
I don't even know. I don't know, and I don't think it matters at this point. Just okay.
No, I'm curious to see if that decision will lose them more business than it gains.
again, I don't think it matters because I think they're just on a downhill slope at this point.
Yeah. as much as I don't like it, long form not cosplay, let's play videos or just let's play videos in general are not as popular as they used to be.
They're not.
And I mean, I enjoy watching them and listening to them and stuff, but I just don't have time anymore. I wish I did, but I mean, even having something play in the background, yeah. It's just
I have
not
to be
as
selective with which Let's Plays I'm going to watch.
Yeah, and with the Super Best Friends unfortunately gone, and me not really interested in the streaming format that the guys have changed to, it did narrow down how many people I follow. It's pretty much just them and Achievement Hunter, and then occasionally I'd watch the compilations of Game Grumps. But even then, yeah.
I kind of watched the streams of the best friends. Specifically, I think Wooly is the one I watch the most. Though I occasionally just check in for like the Dead by Daylight stuff that Pat did, but mostly just Wooly because he's doing a lot of good stuff, and he has his channel which does upload videos if you don't want to watch the full stream.
Yeah, I mean, I think they all do that. Although Matt does more of a themed kind of content thing, which is good. I do occasionally. I do watch Matt's stuff whenever one of his videos actually is about a series I am familiar with. But the downside of having so many different, like a what happened show about the failure of various series is like I haven't heard of most of these.
Yeah,
so I don't really care.
They're often interesting, even if I haven't heard of them. But then there's the really popular ones that I'm supposed to know about, and I don't really care. Like the Street Fighter, the ones, there have been multiple. I just don't care because it goes into stuff that I just don't care about. Like, oh, they got it wrong because the fucking fighting moves are broken because you can't do a circle forward punch move. Like, I don't fucking care about this minutia crap. Like, why is this one like this and all the rest of them are more general business decisions and planning and like the actual logistics of making a game, and this one is all about the nitty-gritty details of this particular game and how it works? I don't care about that. That's not as interesting a story as the people behind the game. I got a bit ranty for some reason, but yeah.
I agree with you. It definitely. Some of the episodes he's more personally invested in, or series rather, they have a different feel to them. And that's good sometimes, and it's bad other times, really.
Yeah. I like his content generally. I do watch most of them when they come out. Wooly, of that group that used to exist but doesn't now, I liked best. I hated Pat. He's an asshole. And Matt is kind of seems like one, or at least really wasn't interested in doing the stuff that they were doing when I was watching it. Wooly has always seemed really cool to me, and I really like him. I hate the people that he's been doing content with recently.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they seem like used washcloths of charisma, and I just, no, thank you.
The downside of bringing all of your friends in to record content with you is that not everyone is, set up to do that.
I feel like I've been watching Wooly consistently, and I feel like they've improved a lot.
That's good. I assume he's brought in relatively consistent people, so they will naturally get better with time.
It's that there's been I've actually really liked their Dokapon full Let's Play thing, where you really got to see. You really got to. They really grew on me with that. I think was the Dokapon one, because you got to see their rivalry and a lot of exchanges. I got mad at some of them. I liked some of them. It was very back and forth. And now with Paper Mario, he's been doing that with Reggie. and they have a lot of good chemistry for that. So yeah, I was kind of the same at first watching it. It's just like, I don't really care about these two other people, but they've they've improved. And I like to watch Pat because even though he's like, a jerk, he's also kind of counterbalanced by, everything else going wrong around him. I don't know. I like him. He's rough, but he's rough in a way that's like, I recognize this from the New Jersey side of my family kind of feel.
Ah, fair enough.
I don't know. Maybe my distaste for Pat is perhaps a little bit colored by, that thing where you're supposed to hate things that you hate about yourself. And Pat is kind of a curmudgeonly asshole that complains about everything. Where have I heard of that before?
I suppose that's fair.
Yeah. So that might be a little bit of a self-recrimination as much as my distaste for him in particular.
Oh, sorry, continue.
No, go ahead.
I was going to change the subject to back to Wooly, actually.
All I was going to say was that I'm just depressed of how the internet has changed and how corporate the reason for most of it is.
Yeah. It's depressing. But I was going to say I do want to binge watch Wooly's Table Lords content because that should be right up my alley. I love it.
It's pretty great.
But the few episodes I watched way back when he first started doing that weren't. Casey kind of nailed it. His co-stars were wet blankets.
Yeah.
As far as charisma goes, so it was hard to watch because I only cared about 1/4 of the people on the show. But I assume that if I watch more of it, I will steadily grow to like them.
Yeah, I can confirm that is the case, especially with some of the later stuff, because you can tell they're very uncomfortable in front of the camera, not used to it.
Understandable.
And not everybody has the sort of like even Wooly when he was first starting out was also equally uncomfortable and not really used to it. I really grew to like him over time.
I guess that's the downside of just starting over with a new crew. Like, you have all of the success and you're well known and respected and liked and you're well practiced at being on camera and everything, and then you try and start over with a whole new crew and you pick out people that don't have that kind of experience and they just look so terrible by comparison to you, while when you did this the first time everyone was on a level playing field. No one really knew what they were doing and they just fucking did it, but it had some genuineness to it because it was just people fucking around. Now there's an expectation attached to the content because this guy's in it, he knows what he's doing, he's gonna be great. Oh, who are these guys? I don't like them, they're not interesting or fun.
Yeah,
it goes.
It's tough.
Yeah.
Because you can't quite do the same things that you've done before.
He wants that natural camaraderie of, hanging out with your friends because that's what he did last time. And it doesn't work the same because there's a gap in ability now.
It takes time.
Yeah.
Which the best part about doing streams is you can have a lot of time to practice.
Yeah.
I've actually been really liking the stuff that the Halo stuff he's doing with Little V Mills. Little V has a natural sort of presence and charisma that works really great with him.
Yeah, I guess that's the choice. You have to either work with people that you like and you have natural chemistry with, even if they're not great on camera, or you work with people who are great on camera that you don't know a goddamn thing about, and you just have to work it on that side, and that's the choice.
What series are they doing for Halo? All of it?
All of them. Halo 1, Halo 2, Halo 3 are on Reach now.
Well, that is definitely something I'll have to check out, because especially when they get to the latest games. I don't think I've played the latest 2 Halo games.
I don't think they're
So it'd be
going
nice
to 4
to-
or 5 necessarily because those are bad, but they are going to Reach at least.
Fair.
I hope they do
Even
it
then-
with ESD.
Even that I would appreciate a catch up on. I mean, those were good games. I enjoyed them.
Now you've reminded me of Achievement Hunter doing Lasso, and that was fucking great.
Yeah.
That might be the last great thing that they do.
Oh, that's depressing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Starts as it ends as it began. Started with Halo, ends with Halo.
being obnoxious and dying a lot.
Yeah.
That's great. I love it.
That's such symmetry right there. Fucking Christ. Can't write this shit. We're all old men. I think Zero's like
Yeah.
I mean,
25.
you're
but we're
old.
men.
I'm pretty good. I'm in the prime of my youth, baby.
I'd actually say you're more in the twilight of your youth, but okay.
I mean, you can be depressing, but I'm gonna ignore that.
Yep. I look forward to the day that Zero is jaded and depressed as I am. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be old men yelling at the world together.
That's an interesting thing to look forward to.
It's never gonna happen. I'm always gonna be bright and happy and sometimes depressed, but mostly get over it because, hey, you know what? Each day that I draw breath is a pretty good day.
I mean, you just have to take drugs. Every time something depressing happens, balance it out with drugs or alcohol.
I'm quitting my job.
There you go. Perhaps fill that time you used to work with alcohol.
I don't drink. I've never drunken alcohol.
You've never drunken
Yeah.
alcohol.
No. I don't even know what it tastes like.
Not good. I mean, most alcohol doesn't really taste good. It just tastes like... No, yeah, it's bad. If you want to drink for flavor, you go for like ciders and stuff. Or mixed drinks.
There's good stuff.
Oh, there
Mixed
is.
drinks are
You
good.
can make good stuff, but I mean, most of the stuff you buy right off the shelf is not inherently good
I
tasting.
still don't understand why that is. I guess it's the culture of just making drinks you like yourself, and that's part of the culture of booze. But I
guess
feel
I
like
just don't
there's
understand
something
beer.
to be there's like a business opportunity there. You could just have, I don't know, pre-made martinis or something. It's just in a bottle.
Mm-hmm. I guess specifically, I just don't understand beer. It's low alcohol content. It tastes like piss. It's not good.
Yeah.
It costs a lot of money, and if you have any form of tolerance, it takes so much to get drunk. It's like, what's even the point?
Yeah.
Oh, and it's terrible for you too. It's like liquid bread.
Yeah. Preaching to the choir. Meat's pretty good.
It is. I love mead. I've had a couple of bottles from like Ren fairs and stuff, and that's probably not even that good to begin with. Like, it's good stuff. I should order some good
I miss
mead.
being able to drink mead.
Is it like too expensive, or just can't get your hands on it anymore?
No, it's just fucking me up.
Oh,
It doesn't
fair enough.
react well with blood pressure medication.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I
So
don't
you
drink
just
alcohol.
Shut up, Zero.
Yeah,
This entire discussion means nothing to me.
you could order a bottle or just get a bottle of something. It's not like it's gonna kill you.
I don't drink.
Yeah, fair enough.
Well, I guess that's pretty much everything.
There was one thing, and I don't know if you guys even want to talk about it, but is anyone here familiar with the artist Bellatrix?
No, but that name is certainly a name.
Yeah, it's Porn. He does porn. Straight
Yeah.
porn.
I mean, the name is literally just woman who does blowjobs. That's what that means.
Oh, that I didn't know that, but that's very fitting because that's mostly what he draws.
Fellatio.
But anyway,
Trix. Trix
right.
is the feminine of. I don't know what the masculine would be, but like dominatrix.
Yeah.
So fellatio, dominatrix kind of thing. Yeah.
I guess there isn't really a masculine form of that. Anyway,
I think
really
dominant
think
is the
using
masculine to dominatrix.
Usually, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, he released his commission pricing, and it's insane. Let's see. A fully colored and line art, like a full image, is $500 a character. Yeah. A new character is like several $100s more. A simple line art of a character is $150. Yeah. I don't know what he was thinking. I mean, his art's really good, but that's insane.
Yeah, that's...
I just wanted to bring attention to that because that's nuts.
There are artists that do commissions for hundreds of dollars. But, first, those are $100 to $200 for full color shaded artwork of characters. And also, they've been doing it for a long time and are well respected, and they built that price up by doing good work and people still being willing to pay that.
Usually when a commission price gets that high, you also have several characters in the image or whatever you're having, or it's a comic or an animation, which take, longer, obviously.
I could understand $500 if it was an animation.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's just a base image, with one character. Yeah. I assume floating dicks are free. Then again, I can't really make the assumption if he's charging $500 for a single character. Who knows? Maybe $100 a dick or something. I don't know.
That's
50
a
cents
lot
per
of
vein.
money.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. I mean, I would understand if those prices were, if he was physically painting a picture and sending it to you in the mail. That's different. But nope, digital art. I don't know. That was the big discovery last night when I got off work. Was someone sending that to me and just.
What is there, like a 3D printed penis included?
I would assume there has to be something.
There's gotta, come on.
You get a picture and this pile of gold.
You get a picture, and also I custom molded this fake vagina for you so you can, it's exactly to what that character would have, I guess. So you can masturbate to it while looking at the picture, I guess.
I mean, that is a thing that the hentai industry has essentially done already.
That's true.
So, yeah.
They have done that. Oh god, now I'm reminded of that 6-sided thing that existed. I did not need to be reminded of that.
What's the new definition of circle jerk?
No, the point was it was a model vagina at 6 different points of a woman's life.
What are we talking about?
Oh, right, that thing. Okay.
Yeah, and there was as a mother, and then there was as an adult woman, and then college student, and then high school student, and then middle school student.
I think you need to
go a little.
In case anyone's forgetting to count, that was 5 of the 6, and we've been going in descending order.
No.
I assume it goes lower, not higher. Yeah. Great. That's awesome. Great. That exists. That's the thing. I thought you meant those, the female equivalent is like a dildo tree. I thought you meant it's a bunch of holes stuck to a stick.
Nope.
Something. Great. That's. Oh man, I'm so glad we decided to talk about this.
So this podcast is going to get suppressed. This is
Yeah.
This is going to be
Why?
buried in the Rooster Teeth vault somehow.
Why would you?
Somehow, I will take full blame for this conversation topic.
I just
So
no.
we should move on to maybe recommendations or thanking the people who. Why would you listen to this?
You okay there, Zero? Doing good?
I'm just.
What's your stance on alcohol now?
I'm disgusted and disappointed with humanity right now.
We
I'm not.
spent
I'm not.
half an hour trying to get you to drink.
I'm not gonna drink. Drinking is stupid.
If half an hour hasn't worked, how about we try the entire next episode?
It lets
I'll
you
make a
forget,
list.
though, Zero. Just for a little while. Anyway.
You see, you're enticing me to drink, but I don't know what being drunk feels like. So there's no reason for me to choose that as my first resort for cheering myself up.
Fluid and unbalanced.
Yeah. Dizzy,
That's about
gassy, slightly nauseous.
I feel like I'm all those things already.
Well, get an upgrade
Yeah. Go
by having
beyond.
an actual excuse. Oh, actually, speaking of having a medical excuse for once, as my power was out for 5 fucking days.
Yep.
6, almost a week.
That
I was reminded that I do actually have tinnitus. Most of the time, it's pretty subtle, and it usually shows in the form of my ears, like doing the ear equivalent of tunnel visioning on the wrong sound. So it's really hard to hear people because my ears are focused on something else, basically. But no, when there is no sound in a 5-mile radius aside from the roaring in your own head, it's kind of hard to ignore.
Yep.
Yeah, so I do definitely have tinnitus. That is not something that just goes away.
Good news, I definitely have breast cancer.
Woo!
I knew exactly where you were going with that as soon as you said good news. I don't know why. She doesn't actually say good news. That's not the line, but, you know.
It's not the line, I know, but still. The good news just makes it better.
But yeah, getting that reminder that I have tinnitus makes me feel a little better about the fact that I have to routinely ask people to repeat what they say to me because I can't really hear them, especially if they mumble and are like looking away from me, which sucks. I cannot hear anything when someone does that.
I think I have a bit of tinnitus as well.
Sorry, I didn't
It's
catch that.
certainly
What was that?
possible. Yeah, a lot of that.
It's a dumb asshole joke. All right. So, yeah. Recommendations? Like, I never have them, but Slicer apparently has one.
Yeah. I'll have to. Oh, this is chapter 1. Okay, I wanted to make sure I was linking the start of the story, not where I'm at.
Cool.
It is called Lord of Darkness by Angel Slayer 135, which is
that's an internet
fittingly
name.
edgelord. Oh yeah. Okay, so Destiny, the being of Destiny, the personification of it, stops time as the killing curse is heading towards Harry's head. It's a HP story, Harry Potter. And is not happy that Dumbledore is trying to intervene and change things because it has a plan and it does not like that being fucked with. So, normally Destiny cannot intervene at all to any real meaningful degree, except when a prophecy is made. Then it can do whatever the fuck it wants as long as it is within the rules of that prophecy or purview, whatever. So basically, it modifies and gives Harry everything equal to Voldemort in his current state. So he has every bit as much magic and potential. He doesn't have his memories because then he would just be Voldemort 2, which I appreciate they called that out.
Yeah.
So he has eidetic memory. He's pretty much everything. And then he also he just grows up to be, a person. So he also gets his own growth as well on top of that. So he's pretty much the most powerful thing on the planet. And of course, the last thing that Destiny does is, what is the power knows not thing? What is the best thing to do to give Harry to combat someone that is afraid of death? Make them afraid of their own shadow. So his powers are, his magic naturally leans toward shadow magic in the same way that Gara has sand, kind of. It's not shown off very often because he's so powerful. Not many things actually push him to use it. But yeah, he can manipulate shadows to a pretty cool degree. Yeah, it's a very fun read. I mean, fittingly enough for our last topic of conversation, the main thing that kept me reading the story actually was really good roleplay. Lemons, actually. He has a harem, as you can be expected, and they all have realistic kinks, and they're kind of explored in very mature and very well done ways. I will say the first 3 years of his schooling career, Harry doesn't have much of a personality. It isn't really until, I mean, he's not challenged enough to show off him as a person. He just kind of like smiles contently and vaguely and smirks a little bit at things as everything kind of falls in line around him. So when things actually get serious enough to perform or, get any kind of challenge, that's when he starts being a person, developing as a character, which is very well done so far. So I like
have not read one of these stories in a long time.
I would recommend it, honestly. The first couple chapters are kind of rough. I mean, there's a lot of info dumps naturally. The grammar is not bad by any means. It's not. It gets better, basically. So yeah, I mean, I'm definitely recommending this because I enjoyed it and I'm enjoying it, and I don't see that stopping anytime soon. Although you will have to accept the fact that Harry is going to win every single thing that gets in his way. Pretty much. Yeah. There is no stakes and no tension in this story to be had. But yeah, it's a fun read. I definitely recommend it to anyone who just kind of wants something guilty pleasure to read.
Yeah, I don't have any room to complain about characters winning every time with no stakes. I'm writing 2 of those currently. 3. One's a commission, though, in fairness.
Fair. One thing that I did actually really enjoy about the story that I don't see very often, Dumbledore actually, gives him the benefit of the doubt. Harry isn't outright evil in this story by any means, and he presents himself as a respectable person. And so Dumbledore believes in him and trusts him. And it pretty much fractures his relationship with Snape because Snape is naturally incredibly biased against Harry. So that dynamic developing over the years of the story was actually really interesting to read.
I could see that working because you look at Dumbledore as a character and you remember, hey, he fucking burned all of a kid's possessions because he stole them, granted, but still, holy shit, you just burned all of an orphan's possessions. And you think, okay, he obviously prejudged Tom Riddle, so he'll do the same thing for Harry, which, that tracks on a basic level, but also the fact that he pretty much created Tom Riddle as a monster.
Yeah. That is a big motivation for
he
Dumbledore
would maybe not want to do that again, kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, they panic to the extreme when they realize... I mean, I forgot to mention, the Dursleys dump Harry in an orphanage day one. Like, the second they get him on their doorstep, they go right to an orphanage. So they panic when they hear that he's raised in an orphanage, and they do investigate the place to find out that it's not terrible. I mean, it's an orphanage. It's not happy by any means, but it's not abusive or anything. So they just kind of accept that and do their best to get him out of that as fast as possible, basically. But yeah, Dumbledore is definitely hands off, and that is interesting to see. He's not manipulative or anything like that. He wants to do what he can, but he doesn't really have a lot of maneuverability to do that. So he just tries to be supportive and give him the slack. Yeah, so that's my recommendation.
Nice.
Yeah. Alright, cool. What's the date today? It's like the 18th? Wow. August is halfway over.
I know, crazy,
So-
right? It's almost like we're approaching the end of all time.
I'm so happy. Just summer just being almost over. It's gonna be so good. It's gonna be cold. And I'm gonna get back to feeling like I'm freezing. And then I'm gonna turn the heating on and it's gonna feel nice. It's weird how that
Yeah.
works. But yeah.
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 There is no greater feeling than being in a really cold room in a nice thick blanket.
Yeah. Okay, so that's a podcast. We talked about vaginas too much, but that's,
You did.
no, we did. It was a group effort. You're on the show, 2-0.
I did not
You
contribute to
were-
that conversation.
Sure you did.
You were still here, though, so I'm afraid you're involved.
Hey, Slicer, you remember when Zero was on that podcast about vaginas?
Yeah, it was crazy. Oh man,
Didn't think he had it in him. Okay.
the conversations he participated in, it was
Yeah.
nuts.
Yeah, ha 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 ha. Real nuts, I know, right? Can't believe that guy was just...
Not nuts, vaginas.
He left. Oh, that's perfect.
So, yeah. Thanks for listening. Patreon is a thing. We'd appreciate it. Public Discord, link in the description for both of those things. Yeah, thanks. Bye, everybody.
See you guys.